It's time for Recipe of the Day. What makes every meal better? I'm not going to say bacon. I'm going to say garlic bread. Now, this recipe is done in the air fryer, and I know you might be thinking, I don't need a recipe for air fryer garlic bread. You just put the bread in the air fryer and it turns toasty and then you butter it. And I hear you, except I really think this recipe is such a great example of the kind of thing that me and my team in general loves to do, and that's take something really simple and perfect it. I swear we made like 6 different versions of garlic bread in the air fryer to get this just right. And now I'm going to tell you what we figured out to make the best air fryer garlic bread. Okay, to start with, it doesn't really matter what garlic butter you use. I'm going to link to my best ever garlic butter recipe, and also the recipe for the air fryer garlic bread has a simplified garlic butter in it. That is really up to you. What's important is that there is a little bit of Parmesan cheese mixed in with the garlic butter. Mixing it in lets it really kind of spread out and spread through, and then it kind of just melts in with the butter and makes it extra delicious. You're going to love this part of it. More important than what you put in your garlic butter, though, is how you cut the bread to do this. So we, of course, wanted bread that was going to fit in the air fryer, right? And so we took like a baguette or an Italian loaf, either of these is going to work, and trimmed off the ends so that when you then cut the loaf in half, each half could fit in the air fryer, okay? So you trim off those ends so that a half of the loaf then can fit in the air fryer. Then you cut it in half. Okay, from here, I'm just going to talk about one half because that's going to be easier. You're going to cut that half horizontally. So you're sliding your knife parallel to the cutting board through there. So you end up with 2 planes of bread that you can spread garlic butter on, right? Okay, but you're not stopping here. The next step is to make slices down into the bread, kind of like a Hasselback potato. These slits or vertical slices are going every 2 inches along this halved loaf that you've got, and they're going most of the way down, but not all the way down because you want it to still hold together. Okay, so why are we doing this? There are 2 amazing reasons. First, we're doing most of the slicing of this bread before we butter it and while it's still room temperature. So that means when it comes out of the air fryer and it's all buttery and hot and amazing, you're going to be able to take that straight to the table and people can just pull off their pieces of garlic bread, right? So that's super simple, not messy, no garlic butter everywhere, and you're not trying to handle that hot bread and slice it. You see what I mean? So there's that reason. But I think more importantly is we're going to spread our garlic butter across those horizontal planes that we sliced, right? And then when that goes into the air fryer, it's going to melt down into those Hasselback slices. So we are going to get garlic butter into every single possible bite, nook, and cranny of this loaf of bread. I'm telling you, this is the way to go. Now, I will say, we have tested a few different things. We tested making those Hasselback slices and then actually going in and buttering into the slices, but we found it wasn't necessary. It melts down just if you butter across that horizontal plane. So we found that out. We also, of course, tested it without those Hasselback slices. It was better with them by far. So you definitely want to prep the bread in this way and then spread that horizontal plane with the garlic butter. Now, the next question, do you use aluminum foil or not when making garlic bread in the air fryer? We have gone with not. And the reason is that when you put that loaf in there, so you're putting it on its uncut side, buttered side up, you can do 2 of those, I guess they're quartered loaves at this point, 2 of those quarters in there at a time. When you do that, they get nice and toasty on the outside and on the top. They turn out really, really beautiful. So that was our favorite side-by-side taste test. We like that best. Now, having said that, if you wrap it in foil, you can actually fit more in there because you can put the 2 buttered sides together, touching as though you would never cut them apart, then wrap in foil so that you can actually do 2 of those in there. So that does help if you're trying to make a big batch. The other thing is, if you differentiate between garlic bread and garlic toast, based on toastiness. And if you quite like your garlic bread to be toasty on the outer crust, but really soft on that middle soft bread part, then putting in foil is going to do that for you. And if for you, garlic toast is when it's actually all toasty, then when you want garlic toast, you would leave off the foil. And when you want garlic bread, you would leave it on. Now that is how I used to distinguish between garlic bread and garlic toast, how much toastiness was going on. But I have been told by many, many people lately, I don't know how this has happened, that actually the difference between garlic bread and garlic toast is the type of bread used. So for a lot of people, the difference is that garlic bread uses a loaf of some kind. Whether it all ends up toasty or soft, that is irrelevant. Whereas garlic toast is more like sliced bread that's been toasted, Texas toast, that kind of thing. So that is what I've been told. I'm not sure who is right. I'm just saying if you want soft squidgy inside, then you're going to use foil. If you want toasty all over, then you're going to skip the foil. And if you want the sliced garlic toast thing, that is something else entirely and not what I'm talking about in today's episode. Okay, now it's time to cook that garlic bread. You're turning your air fryer to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You don't have to preheat it. And then that is going in there buttered side up if you're not using the foil. And it's just 5 minutes. Now, note that some butter does drip down into the air fryer basket, but since we're only doing 5 minutes, it doesn't seem to cause any smoke or anything, so that is perfectly fine. Use some silicone-coated tongs to get out of there so you don't burn yourself. That would be what I would say. So use the tongs to get the bread out of there and then dig in. If you're wrapping those loaves in foil, you're putting those two buttered sides facing each other, wrap them in foil, and then they're going in for 15 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. That is going to get some nice toasty crust on the outside, even through the foil, with soft bread heated all the way through in the middle. That is how you make the best air fryer garlic bread. I told you we were super thorough as always, but we have done the testing so you don't have to. All you need to do is get that loaf, cut it the way I said, spread the butter on it, stick it in the air fryer for 5 minutes, and you're going to have a taste experience. You're going to love it so much. Okay, I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is August 25th of 2025. If you want more great recipe ideas, videos, tips, all of it, make sure you're following me on social media. I am Cook the Story in all the places where I'm at. So that would be Pinterest, Instagram, and TikTok. Oh, and Facebook also. I am Cook the Story on Facebook as well. And we have a group for this podcast. Actually, I post the recipe of the day link there every single day. You can always find it. That group is at facebook.com/groups/recipeotd. I look forward to seeing you there. I'm Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.